This
week on
Barbell
Shrugged,
we talk
to
Shaina
Alverson about
nutrition
and
training
and mistakes
that
I have
made.
boom
and
and prepping for
And competition.
that's it.
That's it.
Q torch.
Right. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, tater tots.
We're rolling.
Welcome to Barbell Shrugged. I'm Mike Bletzer here with Doug Larson, Chris Moore, and our guest, Shaina Alverson.
Hey.
We're hanging out in Atlanta. Hanging out in Atlanta. Gonna go to the Garage Games tomorrow. Doug, Chris, and I are all gonna be speaking. By the time you hear this, we will have spoken. And then you will hear if it sucked or not, essentially.
Wait, I want to know, can you guys see my boots?
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say. Who wants to see my boot? I was like, what? Oh, boots.
The highest rated barbell shrug ever.
We're going to edit it. Can you guys
right.
see my...
My emotions were like up and down.
It went from being exciting to very disappointing.
I was like, damn, she loves cameras.
She only had one shot. All right. This episode of Barbell Shrugged is brought to you by Mobility Kits. You can go to mobilitykits.com.
Show them the logo, man. What's up?
And what? Well, I'm about to show.
So
Shayna's never seen a mobility kit before. She doesn't know what's in it.
Oh my gosh.
So we're gonna go.
It's like Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
she,
excited right now.
She has no idea what she's seeing. All she knows now is that it's a mobility kit.
And it's orange.
So I'm
And
gonna let
with
you
it's
stick
one
your
of my...
hand in there and pull out something. There you go. Oh,
It's like the Price is Right.
and that's what you like, right? You like this?
Whoa!
You like the stick?
I love it. I love the stick. I like to hold the stick and
Stroke the stick. That's a 6-inch stick.
This is what you use to rub out
All
your
right.
body.
There you go.
This is the other thing I want to show you.
Feels so
Was the
good.
peanut.
I like the way it wiggles when you.
Looking at the.
Don't besmirch Mike's product. Come on.
Yeah.
The audio people are
Yeah.
going to hate this.
Yeah.
Mike's in
yeah.
the background like, God, what
So
are
we're
you doing to
talking
my...
over each other.
No, because they can't see any of this.
All right. This is the beautiful thing about
It's basically a
the
ball
lacrosse
sack.
balls.
It's a floppy ball sack is what
right.
it is.
It is, yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
It comes
For
out as
you
a peanut.
who cannot see,
Yeah. Mike is like, this is not how I would handle this.
This is my dream.
Mike is not happy with this
oh,
commercial
we're
at all.
sorry, McG. It's very functional ball sack.
No, but you can.
Actually, I'm gonna let you, Shana. I'm gonna let you handle this. This is
Oh,
this is
thank
the
you.
But in all seriousness, you put the balls in the sack. You put it in your back. You rub around. You can put it on your butt and roll around your balls.
Roll the ball sack on your back.
It's actually what you do, and it rubs out the nuts.
What?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Double entendre is one of my favorite forms of speech, so I gotta tell you. Ooh.
We've gone way too
There's
far
more
down that
things
road.
in the mobility tube.
And there's also bands that you can tie around your neck.
What the? Is this a censored podcast? Can I curse?
Yeah,
You can definitely
Yeah, it
curse.
doesn't
What the
matter.
fuck is this?
We gotta bring Mike on the scene. Mike, come over here and show us what this stuff's all about. Tell her what to do with this band at least.
After you get injured, it serves as a really cool arm sling.
You stretch with the band.
You stretch with the band. That's what
in
he
case
says.
of an emergency, though, it functions.
No,
It
Imagine
doesn't
that's a
function
sling
as
if you do get hurt.
in all fairness, I'm sure you can traction yourself with that. You can put it around parts of your body and attach the other end to something that won't move, and then stretch yourself.
Put this over
You
my
lay on your
boot
back,
here.
put your foot in it, stretch your hamstring.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Just like that. Just like that. Wow. That's how you do it.
Again, you're gonna have to go watch the video version of this.
McG, we're not.
Listeners, I want to apologize right now.
McG, I swear I'm not making fun. I'm just.
So anyway,
It's a good product.
when your mobility kit business fails, you can mark this as the point where it started going downhill.
This was a
It's
tie
like
turn.
It really is like a Christmas stocking. Though.
What did I say? Did I say what? When or if? I'm pretty sure I said when.
In any case, thank you for your
If you want more
sponsorship.
information, go to mobilitykits.com. We're going to move on.
Winning.
Thank you, Doug.
All right, guys. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. You can follow
Nice.
at our hat was it
At Barbell Shrugged.
Barbell Shrugged.
Wow.
And then also my own personal one is Michael Bledsoe. You got Doug E. Larson,
Douglas E. Larson.
Douglas E. Larson, and
Chris
at
Moore
Chris
XL.
Moore.
Chris Marks,
At
because I'm
Shaina
Mark.
Alverson.
Shaina Alverson.
Yeah.
So we got some really good questions today from the Twitters, and we wanted people to ask Shaina some questions. And the question that I think was the most interesting was, if you could go back 5 years, what would you go back and tell yourself? Right? Was it mistake?
what mistakes
what
have you
mistake
made?
Would you want to try to avoid, or things you would change about your training?
Now, granted, you don't really want to go back and correct your mistakes because your mistakes are what have made you who you are today. And if you didn't make the mistakes you made, you'd be somebody else, maybe somebody worse. I just want to make
Unless
that.
you don't love yourself.
I just want to make that plain up front.
That I actually really agree with that.
It is true.
I think a lot of times you learn more from your mistakes than you do when you just do everything perfectly.
If everything comes easy to you, that's just chicken shit. You learn nothing. You'll be a dumb, ignorant, dogmatic son of a bitch.
you
That's
dumb
true.
fuck.
I'm not even being sarcastic or
That's
over the
totally
top.
true.
No.
You sound really
Not at
bitter
all.
when you say it, though.
It's
Not
true.
at all.
You got to make mistakes. You have to. That's what makes a good coach. What makes a good athlete.
So, what mistakes have you made?
Well, before we even get to the mistakes I've made, I also want to say that being brave enough to make mistakes is important too.
Yeah.
Because if you are so worried that you're going to look stupid when you make a mistake, you're not going to put yourself out there the way that you do.
That's why people don't compete. They think they're going to look dumb in front of their friends or from spectators, and they lose this opportunity to learn. And
Totally. And it also can change the way you behave in competition. You know, where let's say in the training room, you're doing everything perfectly and you're like, I got this shit. And then you go and there's, 1,000 people watching you and all of a sudden you freeze up and you're like, oh my God.
It's a
I'm
little
gonna hit a
different.
wrong
It's a
note.
little
But
different in that context to execute, isn't it?
yeah, it absolutely is. And some people thrive under that. I mean, I think I'm a natural performer. We were talking about this earlier, but I used to be a musician.
We were talking
So-
about how much of a great performer I am.
No.
Yeah, you
Not
should have seen
necessarily
her at
I'm a
breakfast.
great
She was like, I'm so
performer, but
awesome.
I do. It's hard to suppress when you're this good.
What did you play?
I play guitar and sing and write songs and had a band.
That's awesome.
I think that's a lot of people out there probably don't know that about you. They think
Oh.
Shaina Alverson, and they think
You mean not
CrossFit
everyone has seen
Games.
my all over the map too? I think
In fact, for everyone out there that doesn't know you, give us like a 2-minute bio on who you are and what you've done in the last couple of years.
Oh yeah, my name is Shana Alverson. I own CrossFit East Decatur, which is in Decatur, Georgia, basically Atlanta. Started doing CrossFit in 2007 and opened a CrossFit gym in 2008. But I started teaching exercise when I was 19, and that was 17 years ago. So I don't just have exercise background in CrossFit.
You're an OG.
That's right.
Yeah. I taught aerobics at Gold's Gym when I was 19
Holy
years
shit.
old.
Dang. Been
Oh,
around.
yes.
You've seen your share
around
of
the block.
Zubaz pants, haven't you?
Oh my God. And also it was like the tail end of when it was really cool to wear the thong leotard to the gym with the,
oh yeah,
the
good
shimmery
Lord.
tights that almost look like new.
I missed that. Can we bring that back?
It's
I
Shimmery
want,
tight
I
days?
want, I want to see CrossFit girls doing thrusters.
the very end of the 1980s. No, you don't.
In the 80s thongs
Really
that go
don't.
up over the hips.
Yeah,
Makes your legs look long and lean.
They're taller than they are wide.
Do CrossFit. Get long, lean muscles.
So
Complimentary thong.
most notable, you've been to the CrossFit Games a couple times now, right?
Yep. 4 times.
Four
So,
times.
2009, 2010, 2011, 2012.
There you go.
It's pretty awesome. That's also when it's getting really hard to go to the games.
Yeah.
I think it makes you pretty legit just getting the opportunity to compete on that scale. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's gotten harder every year, and pretty much every year I'm like, well, I'm gonna try again, but I probably it's not gonna happen this year. So I don't know. I think I go into regionals being like hopeful but not too attached, because I feel like, if I going in expecting to place in the top 3, just I would be so crushed. So every year I pretty much just set my side, like I'm going to do the best that I can, but if I don't qualify, life will still go on.
That's always the struggle, right? Like going into a competition with the goal of I want to do what I know I'm capable of, have a good day. And if I don't make it, at least I know that everything else is outside of my control. I prepared. I did what it took. I put in the work. I had a good showing. Hit the events and lifts I wanted to hit and did well at. And then if you don't make it, you don't make it. You can't control other awesome athletes showing up, also coming with their best. It's just out of your control.
And Mick Goldrick says this quite a bit, and I really like it because, you don't want to let the sport define you or define who you are. Kind of goes in like, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
That's funny because I thought every one of his eggs was in the CrossFit basket. Like every fucking egg was in a CrossFit basket.
I saw his eggs just the other day, and he had them all in one basket.
The basket said CrossFit.
You don't get a body like that by having your eggs in multiple baskets.
Wait, take off your shirt real fast so everybody can see what.
Pull your shirt up.
The guy's got
fantastic
There are
physique.
girls right now pausing their iTunes so they can go.
But like, where's the video version of this podcast?
I will pose you with my shirt off, but I have to stand sideways, and I got to pull my shorts up over my. From here up, I've got abs like you wouldn't believe.
From the chest up.
Chest up and from the side. I'll rock that pose.
I don't know why, but every time you talk about your abs, Mike starts laughing.
That's because in his mind, he's like, I want to see him so bad, please.
I've been waiting for this moment.
Any asshole can have a six-pack. If you have a well-crafted powerlifting belly, you got something special.
Agreed.
The keg.
Agreed.
No six-pack. It's the keg. Exactly. So over the last 4 years, your training has to have evolved and changed over time. Competition's gotten more stiff. You've learned so much of the last 4 years, I would imagine. Like, how has your training changed?
Well, I started out just doing just regular old CrossFit, one workout a day, kind of followed main site a little bit when I first started CrossFitting. And then we had a short break where we had to do workouts in the park every day. We didn't really have a gym to work out in right before we were opening our affiliate. So we kind of had to modify the main site workouts into something you could do in the park on the monkey bars because we didn't have pull-up bars. But then when I decided I wanted to try for the 2009 games, I contacted a friend of mine who was working at Brand X in Ramona, California. They're the ones I think they're most famous for doing all the scaling for the CrossFit main site WODs. Like that's where the FAQ refers them to as Brand X. It's the home of CrossFit Kids, Jeff and Mickey Martin. So one of the guys that worked out there and worked there, he was like, you try out the strength bias thing. They're about to release an article on it in the CrossFit Journal. The article hadn't come out yet. He was like, we've been testing this for a while. It works really well. So he was sending me some programming stuff. So I essentially started out on strength bias. So a little bit of lifting, some metcons, just making sure that I mixed up the time domains. And
so is that more of a structured strength program that repeats on a weekly basis that you do now, or you just do more heavy stuff?
How is that different from what I do now, or?
Yeah,
at the time
when you were doing the strength bias,
Yeah.
was it just more heavier stuff and not just metconning, or did you start doing like a strength program? Like a lot of people follow 5-3-1, for example, which is the same Monday, Wednesday, Friday type movements over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think it's based on a very structured, either on starting strength or maybe a 5-3-1 type of program, but it's definitely structured. So you have the same 3 or 4 lifts that you do every week, and you repeat those every single week. And
Otherwise, it's how you get strong.
Yeah.
By let yourself get good at something, let an adaptation actually settle in, and not just switch to something else that's more fun. You got to kind of grind on something and put your work in.
Yeah, and there's a CrossFit Journal article that lays out the whole program for you. Like, there's a whole chart. Here's what you do if you want to follow this program. So
people can just Google CrossFit strength bias and find the journal article that first got you on kind of the strength paradigm.
Yeah. I mean, the article didn't exist when I started on it, but it was the research for the article that came out a little bit later, like right around the same. It should be a 2009 or late 2008 or 2009 CrossFit Journal article. So I stayed on that program for a while, then qualified for the games, which I think I was really surprised, and just kind of stayed on the training that I had been on, kind of writing my own as you go along. And then in 2010, qualified for the games, just still on my own programming. And the time between regionals and the games, I did not know what to do with myself. I was like, I have 6 weeks to train. I don't know what the fuck I have no idea what to do in these 6 weeks. Because I knew I had another big competition coming up, but I just didn't know how to shape that 6 weeks.
By the way, it's really tough to get good or better at anything in 6 weeks. I mean, that's a very short period of time, especially if you're an already trained, experienced athlete. 6 weeks is nothing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what I know now is that in 6 weeks, you can maintain or dial enough volume in that you can actually start to peak out your conditioning a little bit. So that's what I didn't know how to do. And so at that time, I contacted CJ Martin, who is most famous for being coach at Cross Invictus. He coaches that team, and he also coaches Josh Bridges, and a whole slew of individual athletes are working with him now.
Somewhere in the audience, Matt Baird's going, I know that guy.
Matt Baird does know that guy. Well, CJ's coach happens to be James Fitzgerald, OPT, or he was at the time. I don't know if he is now. But I contacted him because his team consistently performed really well, and that impressed me. And I looked at his programming a little bit, and I was like, this is kind of cool. I want to try what this guy has going on. So he helped me through that 6 weeks in 2010. And then in 2011, I was injured for part of the season, and I didn't think I was going to compete. And it was January, and I was like, I'm 88%. Don't ask me where I got the number. I'm not competing this year because I'm too injured. I can't do it.
What did you injure?
I had a back injury and a shoulder injury. So apparently I partially tore my labrum when I was a kid. I probably did it.
Doug knows a thing or two about that.
I showed horses.
Did that too.
So
that's kind of like the it's kind of like the cartilage in your shoulder.
I was showing his horse this thing, and then he kicked me. I got hurt.
Well,
for everyone that thought a labrum is a labia, when you guys said Doug did that too, it's not a joke. It's the cartilage in your shoulder.
Yeah. I'm not labia.
You also have one in your hip.
In your hip too.
It's and I just found out this year, confirmed by ultrasound, there is a partial tear in it. But
in your hip or your shoulder still?
My shoulder.
Okay.
But and that probably happened when I was a kid, being thrown from a horse. That just happened enough times. That's the only trauma I can think of that would be enough to do that kind of damage.
Okay.
But I had just trained on it so much it started to bother me. So my shoulder was messed up, my back was messed up, and all I could do was like PVC stuff and jump roping and maybe a little jogging. So for 6 months I just worked on mobility stuff and technique stuff with like a PVC or.
But what's really interesting is that that should be one thing I'm talking about tomorrow. Don't
interesting stuff.
Well, you have already talked about it by the time this posts, so
yeah, I won't get. But no, it's interesting that when you have an injury like that, you think, "Oh man, fuck, my dream is ruined. I can't go on now. I've lost all this progress." When actually the injury, which makes you take pause, which makes you stop and think about what you want to do and what you need to do once you heal, and gives you time away from all this training, is the event that allows you to come back and perform better. It's like a forced break from training, it's like a forced periodization block where you were forced to do nothing other than what you could do, which was rest and reinforce maybe some motion with a very light implement like a PVC pipe and think about what you needed to do. Otherwise, you just keep charging off in some direction.
That's exactly.
That could have been the complete wrong direction, but you just had full throttle. You just went for it. It could have been the wrong thing.
Yeah, and I mean, now that I look back on it, it was a blessing in disguise because not only did it force me to like take a step back and work even more on technique and move my body the right way, I learned so many things that I can now teach my clients and my trainees when they come to me and I'm like, I'm injured. Now I'm armed because I know how to deal with it. I feel like I've had every injury on the planet. And honestly, and I'm curious to know if you agree with this, the worst thing about an injury is how much you worry about it. Is that mentally you're like, oh my God, I can't train. Oh my God, I can't train. Oh my God, my shoulder hurts. My shoulder hurts. My shoulder hurts. Like it's consuming and it's all you think about. And I think
for your whole career, the hardest thing is to convince yourself that to get better, you don't need to constantly grind on your body all the time. Like I mean, I'm like only 32, but my training age is like 79, and I still can't like get past the fact that if my deadlift feels slow, better keep deadlifting, bro. When really the thing, I know, if you ask me what will fix your deadlift, I'll tell you, not deadlifting so much, but I will still try to deadlift more.
Yeah.
It's why you need somebody else to say, you're being dumb. And you go, you're right, coach. I'm being dumb, and then you get better. It's hard to get the lesson.
It's so hard to take your own advice. It's so hard to
That's true.
I catch myself all the time, telling my client something, and I'm like, oh my god, I should really listen to what I say for a change.
You need somebody else to tell you what the deal is.
Yeah.
That's why coaches have coaches.
Coaches need
accountability,
coaches.
not because they don't know. They just need someone to hold them to their word.
Yep.
When you think you know, and then because you think you know, you really think you know. When you don't actually know, you just know for somebody else. Right?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Hashtag you think you know, but you know.
That's right.
I think one of the rules of Twitter is your hashtag thing can't be the full length of the tweet because then it's like kind of hard to search for. If you have 140 character hashtag.
Are you just making that up, or is that a real rule?
I'm pretty sure I
can
don't
never
want to do
tell
that.
when he's kidding about something.
Chris is full of shit
Can you
all the time.
come up with some gesture that lets me know?
I'll have you know,
real rule?
I'm the second best bullshitter in the world. The first guy is this British politician I saw on YouTube. I tweeted it. The guy asked him 45 times, "So did you intimidate so-and-so with your line of questioning?" The guy says, "Well, it depends. I acted well within my boundaries to do." "No, did you or did you not?" The guy for like 45 minutes is keeps bullshitting. Look, I yield the crown to this bullshitter. This guy wins. I'm runner up.
You started out with a really good English accent there, and I thought you were going to keep going with it. And it just morphed into American. I had
to force it out. We had to hurry up to get that story going.
Oh, I'm a little disappointed now.
Yeah. But the key thing is,
we still haven't answered the first question for the record.
You can't see.
My history is taking too long.
You competed in.
We're talking about good shit, though.
Yeah. So in 2011, I did not think I was going to compete, and so I didn't. I was like, I'm gonna.
Because of injuries.
Yeah, because of injuries, and I was like, I'm gonna sign up for the Open and try it out and just see how it goes. And I ended up getting like 20th in the region. So after the Open, I contacted CJ again, and I was like, I guess I'm gonna go for it because the Open went really well. My body feels good. Training is going well. So what do we do? So that year, he helped me qualify for regionals.
So what were the specific changes that he made to your programming that helped you qualify for regionals?
His programming was completely different from what I'd been doing because I'd been doing really, I would call
that alone is good.
pure CrossFit. You know, like some
Strength.
That could mean a lot of different things to a lot
pure
of people.
CrossFit with like a little extra lifting thrown in.
Does that mean like you're doing days where you lift and then there's other days where you just wad it up? Is that what you're saying?
Technical term.
No, it was like there was pretty much a WOD or a Metcon, right? When people say WOD, they pretty much mean Metcon. These days.
Yeah.
That was really funny. That just threw me off right there. But pretty much there was a WOD every day, and there was a lift 3 or 4 days a week with the strength bias thing. Well, when I started on CJ's programming, it just looked different than what I'd been doing before. There was a lot of intervals. So a lot of, do this for 30 seconds, rest for 90 seconds. And that is something I had not done before. And I really had no concept of why I was doing it. I just did what he told me to do. And then in 2011 at the games, the swimming thing came up. That sucked. I didn't know how to handstand walk, and that sucked.
Had you not practiced either one of those?
No.
Not at all?
No, I didn't. Yeah.
And how did you perform in those? Did you handstand walk
Very
at all?
0 inches.
0? You couldn't even get up and just like take a step?
Bret's was like, I know how that feels, God.
It was so embarrassing. I
am
tried
totally
not
the fittest on the earth.
But I got to tell you, when I came home, I spent 30 minutes every single day learning how to get inverted and do a handstand and front roll out of a handstand and then try to actually move.
Awesome.
So now I think my PR is like 40 feet, but it took me a while to get there.
What is good? Well, I've never been upside down ever in my life. So what is good for walking with your hands? I use my feet. I have these perfectly evolved things that carry me to and fro. And I bound with the Earth's gravity. It works really good. So how far is good for walking? What's like the world record in handstand walking for CrossFitters?
Didn't Rich Froning do like
2 miles?
Over 100 yards?
While shooting targets with his feet?
Remember what the records were?
I have no idea.
So I think he just went the whole field.
Yeah, I mean, so almost 100 yards on your hands. Just at the
50
games.
Yards. Yeah.
I'm sure.
I bet you the world record is something just
like 2
out
days.
of this world. I bet you it's like
miles.
I bet you it's like
Probably
15 miles.
Yeah.
But you know what, bro?
The world record for one-arm pull-ups is like 200.
What?
Yeah, it's something ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's like
but
120.
that guy's
Isn't
only
it a
got one
5-year-old
domain.
that weighs like 30 pounds?
The world record for like one arm, one finger pull-ups is like 36.
What?
Yeah.
But see, that's
they're so
ridiculous
far
stuff.
out of
That's
guy's-
all they
out
can
of
do.
like concept.
It
And they have
sounds
like one
impressive.
giant arm and the other one's like real skinny.
It sounds impressive, but that's such a narrow domain.
I had
That's
that
so
before back in high
that's so
school.
narrowly modal. Yeah,
I think
arm
the
is
world record in
jacked.
24 hours is like 11,000 pull-ups.
it's ridiculous. Some people are
Something
just
like that,
insane.
not kipping. Yeah.
So
And
you
the dude's like
finished-
6'4".
You finished
No rep.
2011. You got better at handstand push-ups, but
Handstand
or
walking,
handstand
yeah.
walking, but you didn't get better at swimming, from what I know. And then
No?
I hate swimming. I just hate it. I don't
she's
like
been
it.
avoiding swimming. So then you went 2012.
Yes. So I just decided to work with a different coach in 2012, but I didn't know who to work with. So I didn't find anyone until like January. So I started working with Doug Chapman, who is Hyperfit USA or CrossFit Ann Arbor, which is in Michigan. And he's more famously Julie Foucher's coach than he is my coach. But I worked with him last year.
I'll call her Voucher.
Voucher.
This is America.
I love the voucher. Because I went to so many training camps at Doug's place, we got to be really good pals, and she's legit. I love her.
She needs
Awesome.
to come on the show, CTP.
Uh-oh.
Get her on. It's another
Got the
tweet.
camera shake. That's right.
So yeah, where were we? 2012.
You're going to
Spring
tell
of
your
2012.
games history and
Yes.
how your program has changed over the years and the,
Okay,
the
so
mistakes you made, what you learned along the way.
Going on Doug's programming was like
That stuff.
being on Doug's programming. I basically felt like he was trying to kill me. It was just hours and hours of destructive volume every day. That maybe if you're 23, it's not gonna kill you, but
Yeah.
I will be turning 37 in May and have been training CrossFit for almost 6 years now. And
That is,
so
I will say that's the biggest thing I've learned in my training life is that it's really humiliatingly obvious that I am not quite what I was when I was 19 and doing silly shit and feeling like $100 afterwards. $100. I say 100 because a million's not realistic. $100 is good. But like, I used to be like on the bench. I played football in college, right? We had to train for the 225 rep test, and I was pretty good at that. My best all time was like 38 or 39 reps. I was happy with that.
that's bench press.
Yeah, 225. But you train for it by we train for it by doing fucking 10 sets of 10. I do 10 sets of 10 bench with 275 with like a minute rest between sets, minute and a half rest, 2 minutes rest at the max.
Awesome.
So
Sounds like a porn
I was really
patrol.
good at benching. And then you go do like 5 sets of 10 incline press and then 100 reps of push downs and then go do a bunch of push-ups and running after. Because your coach just says, oh, just do all this shit because that seems like it's good. And you just do it and you have no problems. Now, if I do 5 sets of 10 once, I can't bench for like 3 weeks because my bicep
Elbows
tendons are
and
inflamed and
shoulders.
Yeah, and
throbbing.
that's the most notable thing about, I'll use bunny ears, aging, is that, I mean, it's the recovery is just slower. You don't recover as fast. You don't respond to training as quickly, I feel like. So this year, it was actually, I went to OPT training camp in January of this year. And I couldn't participate because I had the flu, which sucked because I had to watch everybody else working out, and I was just sitting there in a little sweatsuit shivering.
Oh, God.
But
Sweating and shivering.
I'm actually glad that I went because the one thing that like soothed me to hear was, if you do have an older, specifically training age, it's okay to train submaximally. And that was a relief to me. Because it meant to me I don't have to go balls to the wall every single day and just destroy myself in the gym. Because not only is that hard to recover from, it's also not very much fun anymore.
Yeah.
I
It
think
wears
you
you down
need-
after a while.
Yeah.
You need more submax reps. You need more space in between intense specific exercises. And I think the real thing that came into focus for me over the years is that you need more variation with time. Like as somebody on your level with your training history, can't go into the gym like every day and grind on the same list of things. Mentally you get dull pretty quick. Physically you lose your sharpness really quick. You need more variation. That's like the golden training rule is that when you start off, you need to pick a few things, get really awesome at it. Kind of like when you do that strength training program. Like you bench, you squat, you do pulls, you work your Olympic lifts, you get technically sound. You do that all the time. But with time, you can't really just keep doing one kind of lift all the time and keep progressively adding weights. You're going to hit a wall. And if you keep pushing, you're going to lose more time than just a tiny little tweak or injury would put you on a belt. You need to learn when it's time to go up to the next level and get a bit fancier.
Yeah, and I think
Which,
it's
by the
not
way, we
just
talk about that in
your-
the Simple Strength Seminar, homie. Isn't that right? Shake that camera. Yeah.
Yes. And I think also it's not just that training so much volume or balls to the wall every day wears you down physically, but also mentally. Like, you know, if you really don't want to go to the gym that day and you're kind of begrudgingly showing up at the gym and just going through the motions, you're going to get less out of it than if you're like, I am about to handle this shit today, and you go in there with a much better attitude, you're going to get more out of your training. So that is what is different this year about last year. And I called up Doug this year, and I was like, I love you, man. Love you. And you will always be a coach and mentor to me, but honestly, I cannot hang with your program. And it's
a CrossFit breakup.
Yeah, so less
was,
testing,
It's not you, it's
more
me.
training.
yeah,
Less
volume.
testing, less volume, more training.
Yeah. It was just like, you know, do every minute on the minute for 10 minutes, do as many, no, I'm sorry, every minute do max back squats at like 135 pounds, and then rest the following minute and repeat 10 times. And then
Spicy.
go do Karen, or, you know, and it was just like that kind of volume. And I wanted to kill myself.
If I did that right now, I would be sore for like 3 weeks.
Which one was Karen? I don't know the girl's name.
150 wall ball.
Oh shit!
know
Yeah.
Karen.
Fucking McGoldrick. I tell this story like 5 times in the show.
And he still doesn't know the name of the workout.
I'll tell you. I got like 5 wall ball shots
I watched
into
the show, I've
this.
heard it.
No, I listened to the podcast.
I got 5 in, and this guy starts screaming at me.
"No,
Come
don't
on,
do it."
only 145 to go, bro. It was so good. Oh god.
Please
And then
come to my gym and work out.
Like 3 weeks later. 3 weeks
Please come do a
later.
class at my gym.
3 weeks later, I'm walking by, leaning my body forward, so I'm gonna fall over, then put my foot out. That's how I had to walk, you know, like sliding along a wall along
Where
to move my
you
body.
walk and you try not to bend your knees at all.
Yeah, you just try, you just like lock, you lock it and you unlock it, and you just fall forward, lock it again, so you don't fall down.
Oh, no.
Brutal.
What do we got for Twitter questions?
Well, we're not gonna move on to that first. Yeah, we're gonna come back to that. Let's take a break real quick, and then we'll come back and finish out your history and well, you pretty much did that, and then we'll
Technique one.
get to the questions that people are asking on Twitter. Technique one is gonna be Mike McGoldrick, part 2 of the rope climb.
It's gonna be insane.
Quick reminder: Mike McGoldrick also offers
Crushing.
remote coaching, just as Shana was talking about. So if you want to go look up Mike McGoldrick for remote coaching, you can check it out in the shop on Barbell Shrugged.
You'll pay him to scream at you. You'll become awesome.
Watch his rope climb.
Now we're going to learn the J hook. It's the faster one, okay? Some people like this one better just because it's just quicker and it's less to worry about with wraps and all that. The J hook, the rope will be on the outside of your body, okay? So when you start, this leg comes up, the other one's going to come underneath it, okay? All right, see how much faster that is to set up? But in my opinion, there's less rope touching my body, like surface area, so it's not as strong of a clamp, right? But if I'm only doing one quick rope climb in a workout, for example, it's perfectly fine, you know, it's fast. All right, you want to come over here and show us?
Right, I don't really normally do this one, so.
Well, we'll teach you how.
Okay, there we go. So right here.
Yeah, same thing as same setup before, except his knees up instead of the rope being in the middle. It's on the outside. Okay.
And then just.
Yep. There you go. Except you gotta bring the knee, the legs higher.
Yeah.
The higher the better. So, rope's on the outside. The other leg is gonna come up underneath it, right? And you're basically this one you're standing on top. Okay. So this leg will come up. You clamp there. Make sense? To come down, you can just do the opposite, right? So forth.
That's how you get down.
Try again?
Yeah.
All right, so rope's on the outside of his foot. He brings that left leg up. Just bring that left leg up. Yep. Drop back down. Let's try it. Let's try it again. I want you to just jump up a few feet. Just bring your left leg up. Bring the other leg under it. Up. Find the rope. There you go.
And then,
Yeah.
there we go. Yeah.
Cool, come on down. Any questions on that? All right, let's give that a shot now. Split back up into the groups. Who wants to give it a shot? Come on. So, that's fine, that's fine. You know, you can keep it on the outside of your body. I like to keep it in front of my knee so I can see it. Right, but the point I say outside your body, just so you can remember that it's on the outside of your foot. Okay. Right, not in the middle. No wrapping here. Just stand. There you go. So you can understand how it's a clamp, but it's not as strong as the wrap. Yeah. But it's faster to set up because you just jump and go. So what have we picked up today, right? We picked up the most important thing is establishing a strong clamp with your feet, right? Once you have that down, then you can just, you know, you'll move on from there, right? You'll figure out how to stand, do your arms up and reset. So the one thing you guys need to work on if you want to master this is figuring out how to reset as you're up in the air, okay? And that's honestly just practice. You just got to get comfortable with the rope and figure out where it's at and know, you know, some body awareness and just, you know, basically resetting a strong clamp and using, you know, your legs to be efficient and keep moving up. All right. Couple of quick points to review. Remember, keep your arms straight, right? You really just want to have them kind of hold you there, okay? Always think about pulling to the center of your body, okay? All right, so you see me lean back, right? So like a row is much stronger than a straight pull-up, right? So if you're leaning back a little bit and you kind of pull to your chest, that's going to be stronger, all right? So, and then try to remember the concept of standing and pulling, okay? So I'm going to stand and pull at the same time rather than, so I'm going to stand and pull rather than pulling and redoing my legs, okay? That's where a lot of people have a problem is when they go to reset their feet, they start pulling with their arms. And then you're in the bottom and you're balled up like this and your arms are dog tired, okay? So relax while you're up there. Keep your arms straight, your body back, and think about wrapping with your legs and then standing and pulling at the same time, okay? And last thing, keep your knees up, right? The higher you bring your knees, the more you're going to travel with each pull. And imagine getting up there in 3 pulls versus 5. You know, it's a whole lot less work, okay? You're moving the same distance, but having to re-grip 5 times, it's going to take you longer, and it's going to, you know, it's more time on the rope with your grip. And I think that's it. Y'all have any questions?
Oh my God. All right, we're back. Hopefully you enjoyed the rope climb video. Good job, Mike.
I know I did.
I'll be climbing a rope.
He moved
Never.
chairs and everything.
That's right.
I will always be the fat gym kid.
We're there now.
So we kind of wrapped up your training history and going to the games and all that kind of stuff. And let's address some questions. The one question we tried to address at the very beginning of the show, 30 minutes later, we're getting to it. Now I can't find it. Oh, yeah. If you could go back like 5 years, what would you advise yourself?
I think...
To do.
The queen is English.
I was understood. I think that knowing what my weaknesses were, knowing what my goats were, and ignoring them because it wasn't written in the program. So I knew I couldn't hand walk, and I had seen hand walking come up on the main site, and I was like, I should probably train this, but it's not in my program, so I'm just not going to worry about it. So I should have listened to my instinct and done some practicing on it anyway, even though it wasn't written in the program. And, you know, swimming that year is another thing that was coming up on the main site. I ignored it, and then Dave Castro threw us in the ocean. Yeah,
that's one thing I've noted that I started doing after, I forget which year it was, but I saw something that had only popped up. I think it was the ring handstand push-ups. It only popped up once or twice in the CrossFit.com workout of the day that whole year. It only popped up maybe twice. And then they had it at the games, and I go, wow, I can't just like start programming what I think CrossFit is. Like, I think a lot of coaches do that. They're like, oh, you know, this is what I think CrossFit should be. and they program that way, or they kind of detach completely. And so I know every few weeks I like to log on to CrossFit.com, even though I'm not doing CrossFit.com, and just see what movements are going on, and kind of seeing what their expectations are. You know, the volume in some of these hero WODs. You know,
I mean, it really is foreshadowing for the
expectations.
games. If they're throwing in something that like you haven't seen before, like bar muscle ups, I don't think that is a coincidence. Like
my prediction on the bar muscle ups is we'll see it in the open.
Oh, this year?
That's my prediction.
Really?
My only reason I think they may not is just because of equipment. For most CrossFit gyms, if they have like the
a lot of
rogue
them have
bars,
those rogue double bars that you can't.
If you have the Spiel bar, you're good to go. But I'd say maybe half the gyms I see now have that double bar where you can't do a bar muscle up. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So basically, you just said nothing there. Maybe there'd be a bar muscle up, but on second thought, nobody
Probably
has that, so maybe it won't. I don't know. What the fuck am I talking about?
I think they want to.
They would love to.
See, my predictions, we know what we're gonna see in the open, right? Because it's the same thing every year, just mixed up a little differently.
5 AMRAPs.
Yeah, right.
One will be shorter.
You're gonna see some burpees.
One will be longer, and then there'll be other AMRAPs in between those long and short ones.
There's gonna be
and there'll be randomly
double unders.
done.
There will be wall balls. There'll be snatches.
Article the guy put out about all the movements. He took a total sum over the last 3 years of all the movements.
Oh,
Yeah,
Well,
I saw that.
McGoldrick, he's referring to an article this guy posted on his blog, which is a statistical analysis of all the movements from, I think he did it in 2010, 2011, 2012. He's kind of covered it every year.
This guy's got way too
I wish
much
I could
time on his
find
hands.
this. Yeah,
Right.
the statistician that has too much time.
Stats together.
I love CrossFit so much that when I get home from work, I do statistics on it.
Well, actually, the running the stats isn't like super hard because pulling the data is pretty easy because the
just
game's
tedious.
website pulls it off. You can pull it off the game's website pretty easily, I think. I don't think he's having to type it in. I think he can kind of like export a folder maybe. I could be wrong. Anyways, he did an analysis like the most important CrossFit movement is like the snatch. All right? So that's like the most important movement to have.
Last year they were calling,
I think
after the open, they were calling it Snatch Fit.
Snatch
some
Fit?
people were making fun of calling it Snatch Fit.
I'm down.
It's so many snatches.
Oh,
don't
we're buying that domain now.
don't you wanna have a-
Snatchfit.com. I got it.
Don't you want to have a meet where you do snatch and you squat for 1RMs?
Yeah,
your
I was
pitch?
wanting to do I was wanting to make a sport where it's a snatch 1 rep max, kind of like in weightlifting, and then a back squat 1 rep max. And that's it.
Interesting.
Strugglepalooza.
Well, that would be an interesting data study, I think.
That's what
How relative are those two numbers?
Well, I want to do that because that's what I'm good at. Like it's like because I
I'm
hate
not competing in anything I can't win. Fuck that.
Yeah, jerking is hard, so I just want to.
That kind of jerking, sure. Yeah.
What were we talking about? Chris derailed me again.
She was-
we were talking about the stats of the movement. So he statted out the movements, and then I think he statted out the time frame for how long the WODs might be and all that kind of stuff. But snatches are the most important movement, and then like pull-ups and wall ball shots. I don't know, there was like 5 that you're pretty much
And then
guaranteed to see.
softball
Which,
throws
like,
for
I
distance.
did not do a single pull up at the CrossFit Games last year. Not one.
At the games.
At the games.
Yeah, and he
Not
was
a
looking
single
at.
pull up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I didn't make it to. Did they do? Yeah, Fran was the only time they did pull ups. The very last workout of the whole games.
But you'll see him in the open and at regionals for sure.
Do you think chest? I mean, they always do chest to bars.
They do chest bars every year.
You think
now.
they'll finish out with that Fran ladder again this year?
I think you need to be doing
think
butterfly chest to bar pull-ups.
hate
People
that
need to learn how to do those.
Somebody should tell Mike he doesn't have a microphone in front of him.
Yeah, we're all pausing. You're hearing
No
silence.
one
That's
can hear you.
and we're all like, that is very titillating information.
What he said was he did think they would do the Fran ladder as the last workout again
Yeah.
for the open.
Classic. Yeah.
That's McGee's prediction.
So what would you go tell yourself? Did we get that?
I don't think. What?
What?
What would you go back
No,
and tell yourself?
she would be better at facing the thing she knows she's bad at,
Okay.
Yeah.
like
And that's
dealing
pretty
with
much
it.
happened every year. My weakness or just a goat that I ignored has come up every single year.
So this year, what's it going to be?
Well,
What did you ignore this year?
She's already ignoring
that's coming
swimming.
up? Swimming still? Anything
Hate
else that you're
swimming.
like, Man, I did not practice my GHD med ball throws
Well,
this
I
year.
have only practiced like parallel grip, handstand push-ups, just not very much at all. Hardly any. I think bar muscle ups is something I should start throwing in there just occasionally. I don't know. Just I've never been inverted on the ring, so if they do throw in handstand push-ups on the rings for women, yikes.
That sounds gnarly.
That's going to be yikes for a lot of girls. Even the top dogs.
Yeah, what's going on with your mic, bro?
It has fallen down quite a bit.
You've got droopy rod syndrome.
Oh, man, his microphone's all jacked up.
What's the next question?
Another really good question that someone asked was, how does it feel to be a role model in the in the CrossFit community, especially the women out there?
Well, that's a hard question to answer because I don't think I think of myself that way.
That's what all role models say.
That's what I say to myself in the mirror every morning when I brush my teeth. God damn, it's hard to be a role model. But I'll keep doing it because these people need me. Who will give them the dick and masturbation jokes if not me? You want to go on the internet for that, like to some random untrustworthy site? You got to get it from this show.
I'm just going
to hold my mic up like this the rest of the show.
We're so high tech.
It is not working. Someday we're getting new mic stands.
By the way, guys, if this is your first podcast you're listening to, there's usually more information interspersed with the bullshit. So
you don't want to face the fact. You don't like. Does it make it uncomfortable to be known as a role model? Get a little embarrassed by it?
No. Embarrassed is not the right word. I mean, it humbles me absolutely.
Embarrassed in a kind of like, oh, stop it kind of way. Oh no, I'm just a girl trying to work out.
Please stop. No. What's the question again?
How does she feel about like being a role model in her sport?
He is. It's true.
You do it on purpose, don't you? You're like, I'm about to fuck some shit up.
Everyone that listens is it's like, man, y'all get derailed a lot. And then when someone comes on the show, they're like, it is so hard not to get derailed.
Well, you realize how fucking boring this show would be without my derailing. Let her finish. Let her finish, Mike.
The main answer is like, I'm humbled by that. I think it's, it makes me feel good to feel like people are inspired by me, and it makes me want to work harder.
Yeah, you can't screw it up now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want too much pressure on me. So, will I make it a fifth time? I don't know, but there's a lot of eyes on me. So that's a little unnerving to think of it as an expectation, but. I don't know. I think it just makes me want to have as much integrity as possible and walk the talk as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Hashtag.
Walk
the talk.
If you don't make it, whose fault is it?
Yours.
Exactly.
just blame him and bash him on some other show.
We haven't even talked about that. So Mike Bledsoe is my coach this year.
Yeah.
Yay! Now the whole world knows.
So if she wins, then she'll get all the credit.
But if I
she
lose,
doesn't win, if she loses,
totally
then it's
blame
all
the
my
coach.
fault. So that's how it goes.
It is, yeah. That's
how every coach is,
Yeah.
in every sport. I
Well,
think.
we will be cheering for you. I will be eating cheesecake and drinking beer and going.
So are you guys
You
gonna
get that wad.
make the trip to West Palm Beach for the regional?
It'll be fun.
I'll be there.
You could
I don't know. I
podcast
don't know if I
from
can
West
talk-
Palm Beach.
I'm taking
Get some palm
CTP
trees
with me.
in the
In
background.
the very least, he's going with me. We're gonna get some good footage.
Awesome.
We're gonna have a good time. I don't know. Does Doug want to go? Doug, do you want to go to West Palm Beach? In
What weekend is it again?
Middle of May.
It's
Middle
like
of
May
May.
15th.
I could be in town that weekend, but not anymore. I'll be in West Palm Beach. I was gonna be in town. Yeah, I'm down. Let's do it.
We're like pimping out the Southeast
Yeah.
Regional.
So what?
So we did a daily BS earlier
Do you have any
today.
questions that you have on your Twitter?
One of the questions was, which is a little different than, what would you tell yourself if you could talk to yourself 5 years ago? It's, what are some mistakes? I can't find the question.
We should definitely talk about that.
That's the one we started with.
Here's a really good question.
What was
We
your
spent
biggest
an hour
training
trying
mistake?
to answer it.
What was your biggest training mistake? And that was Charlie on Twitter @iCharlie3.
That dude's feed's gonna blow up.
He's gonna have like 20 new follows.
Yeah, which is pretty good.
A huge number of follows. No, my biggest I just made what I think was the biggest training mistake. So that's an easy question for me to answer. I was after the games this year. I read a lot of books, and one book I read was talking a lot about ketogenesis and how good the ketogenic diet is for you, and what girl doesn't want to be lean and have a 6-pack instead of a 4-pack.
Sure, sounds sexy.
Right?
And
I mean,
all
I'm
that,
6% body fat, but I only have a 4-pack. So how do I get?
I've heard about those people.
So how do I get a 6-pack? Is what I want to know.
Dude, I am so sorry. Nah, you just got to get different tools for measuring body fat.
She read the
That's
book.
all.
You read the book.
All right.
Yeah, I read the book, and so I'm like, I'm gonna do this ketogenic thing because I'm gonna burn a lot of fat, and it's gonna be a fuel source for me and be ready to go. And I did that for like 6 months after the games this year. And
It's only an off-season thing if you're trying to get stronger.
yeah, it was bad. Oh God, it was bad. And what I realized is that I was thinking of myself. I mean, I coach so many people, and most of my members, clients, want to lose weight and get leaner, but they're not working out like 5 days a week, 4 hours a day. And so I was still thinking of myself as like a weight loss client when I need to be thinking of fueling myself as a performance machine. So
Exactly.
for 6 months, I ate less than 50 grams of carbs a day. And I didn't really get any stronger. My numbers didn't drop off, but I didn't get any
Man,
stronger.
Doug just rolled his eyes at you.
I was like, rolling my eyes like, fuck, dude. I'd feel sick most of the time if I tried to do that.
That's what happens. I got really depressed. I did not want to go to the gym, and every time I forced myself to go to the gym, I resented it. I was like, fuck this. Why am I here? I'm not having fun. It sucks.
I like your style.
Oh, you're bound to be depressed on that,
But
that low
I
carb
still
intake.
forced
Training that
myself
much.
to do it. Finally reached out to Rob Wolf, and I was like, please help me. I think something is wrong with my diet. Could it be something in my diet that's causing this awful depression and me to not make any progress on lifting, which in the off seasons when you want to get like jacked and
Lots
shit.
of progress on lifting.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because
when you get
that's all
strong.
we're doing, all lifting. And he was like, well, are you eating enough carbs? And I was like, well, I've kind of been doing this ketogenic thing for the last 6 months.
I've kind of been eating no carbs.
Like negative carbs? Is that
like
possible?
ever.
I could see Rob Wolf shaking his head at his keyboard, just like, oh, God.
Yeah. No, he was like, dude, ketogenic diet is for fat, sick people, and you need to eat carbs. And he told me to eat 2 grams of carbs per pound of body weight on training days, which was like 5 times as much carbs as I had been eating.
You start feeling better like right away.
No, it actually took a while.
Did it?
Yeah, because I think I just was like, I was deep in the hole of
You
like
dug that hole deep.
melancholy.
Yeah.
I was like, why am I alive? I don't know. it was bad.
So I get in some discussions with some like ultra ketogenic diet people, and they're like, well,
they're hardcore.
You can't get the benefits of ketogenic unless you've been in there a long time. And I'm like, well, I did it for 6 weeks, and when I reintroduced like post-workout shakes that had sugar in them, I saw a big jump in my performance. I'm like, well, you just didn't go hard enough, long enough. You didn't do it well enough.
Right.
You know, kind of like vegans.
That's
You're
true.
not doing it well enough.
No, they will
that's
tell
what they
you.
want to say.
More Cheetos.
Yeah, you're
How
probably
long?
not
How
enough.
long were you in ketosis? Because I want just as a reference, I would like to use you as a reference. Like, how long were you in ketosis?
It was-
and did you see any benefits out of that?
I really didn't get any leaner because I think I was essentially in starvation mode. And so my goal was to lean out a little bit, which was stupid because I should have been trying to put on muscle, but I didn't really lean out, and it like got into ketosis very easily. So 6 months essentially.
You spent like 6 months in ketosis. Did you come out like
I was in and
every
out.
couple weeks?
Yeah,
or
I was
anything
in
like
and
that?
out. Occasionally I would do a carb load if I felt really, really bad. So,
How frequently would you do that?
well, I started out doing it. When I first started playing with ketogenesis, I was doing like a carb cycling. So like I would carb load twice a week. And then I was like, well, I only need to carb load on the weekends after reading Pasquale. And then after that, I was like, well, I read the other book about the low carb living or whatever. It's the new one, Volek and Finney. It's got a lot of PR. But then I was like, I really don't need to carb load ever at all. So, but then I would, everyone has moments of weakness. So I would occasionally eat like a whole bunch of carbs, but it wasn't wasn't frequent enough that it made me start feeling any better. So
is it accurate that I picture you in these dark times, training, feeling bad in a blacked out weight room, like with the Cure blaring, and you like, brooding behind the barbell before you lift, and the depressing 80s music's pumping, and you're trying, and you're like, yeah, all I want is like anything with sugar in it. Pint of ice cream.
it's like you're psychic. Were you watching me?
No. He's a creeper.
No,
like in the window.
I wasn't watching you. I've just been there before.
I understand you, man.
I think that was it. I think that's good.
No, it was bad. So don't go.
So don't read books. That's
Don't
what
use
I got from that.
Well, what I will say for myself, just to like defend myself a little bit, is that when I read research on something and I want to know how my body's going to respond to that particular kind of diet, then I try it, and I'm really committed to it. So, it was a hard lesson to learn just at the wrong time of the year, but
experimentation is important.
Well, yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
Short term.
I don't know when a good time of the year would be. Like, you wouldn't want to do that right before the competition season.
Well, look, right now it's
as
stupid.
far away from
well, would I have learned that had I not made that mistake? I don't know, but you learn from your mistakes.
I mean, around the time you screwed up, you lost some progress. But you did commit fully to the experiment. You realized exactly what was wrong with it, and you lived there for a while. And now anybody else who approaches you with that issue, you can share a real experience with.
And I was open-minded enough to know that Rob Wolf knew what he was talking about, and I was going to try what he told me.
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
I don't eat 2 grams of carbs per pound of body weight on training days. I don't eat that many carbs because I don't feel like I could really consume that many without getting sick. But I eat a lot more carbs now, and Mike, right around the same time, Mike and I started working together. He told me to start supplementing with BCAAs and also some kind of starch to mix those together, and so I'm doing that now. And this is the first time
into a workout shake. This is a liquid thing while you're working out.
Yeah, like where you guys.
What kind of shakes aren't liquid things?
Well,
I
don't
a shake,
want people to think you were just taking BCAA.
Thing.
Can you
for the audience? It's a liquid thing you drink.
Can you like put in some crickets right after he said that? Because there was a moment of silence when nobody. It's plasma. No.
Okay, you're all right. Now you're taking BCAAs plus some type of starchy powder.
Mm-hmm. Which I believe the recommendation was waxy maize, but I cannot take waxy maize because I'm allergic to corn. Mm. And so I reached out to Rob again, and he said take Vitargo, which is apparently a Swedish company that makes supplements, and it's made from fractionated barley, apparently.
Sounds fancy.
And it's gluten-free, so I use that instead of waxy maize, and I think that's helping too, because this is the first year I've ever supplemented with anything. I've only ever eaten food up to this point. I've never taken protein powder, anything other than like food and fish oil.
Well, a long history in fitness,
magnesium.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Question.
17 years.
So now that you started taking the shakes and stuff, how long did it take to notice a difference?
Well, and that's an
And what was the difference?
That's interesting too, because I started that about the same time I started eating more carbohydrates. So I think both of them are contributing, but I'm actually enjoying being in the gym again. I'm able to push harder during my workouts. But most noticeably, my mood, like I don't want to sleep all day anymore. So I feel a lot better. I'm happier. People can talk to me without me biting their heads off. And
usually a good thing.
Yeah, that's when you own a gym and people want you to coach them. It's kind of good to be nice to them.
Yeah, you have to be nice.
Makes me feel like breaking back out some sweet potatoes in the morning. 'Cause I'm planning on a comeback, or I'm doing a meet in my garage, just me, like in May.
A solo meet.
Mm-hmm.
Solo meet.
Did you buy
I can make
trophies
a meat
for this?
joke. I'm not going to do the meat joke.
M-E-A-T.
M-E-A-T.
But no, I'm going to come back. I'm
say.
going to go out in my garage one crisp, beautiful May morning. I'm going to do a meet, just me, 3 attempts each lift, squat, bench, deadlift. I'm going to see what I can do. So I got to get back at it. I got to start eating these carbs. How many? 500 grams of carbs a day?
You got to start
500?
eating carbs?
500 grams of carbs
You
a
need
day?
at least 500 grams of carbs a day.
Plus 8,000 grams of
Yes.
protein.
That's 2 grams per pound of body weight.
No, listen,
so
but
like
wait,
550
2
grams
That was
of
a joke.
carbs
But I will say you're never too experienced to learn that you're making some dumbass mistake, because I've been eating like 100, 150 grams of protein for like a year, which is, weigh like 275 pounds. I think by my science. That's not enough.
2 grams of carbs per pound of body weight on training days.
Yeah, just on training days.
I'm talking about protein now.
I'm talking about protein, but I don't know how much protein should. Look, I'm a big sexy man, Doug. How many grams of carbs do I need on my training days? Which, by the way, now is about 5 days a week. I don't want to brag, but it's pretty intense. I'm getting after it. I'm throwing weights around. I'm screaming in my garage. My neighbors think I'm a crazy asshole. I lived there for like 2 weeks. How many grams of carbohydrates?
This dude moves to like the nice suburbs. He's been there for 2 weeks. And he's like, ah!
And last night I'm pulling speed
things.
deadlifts with fucking West Side Connection blaring at 9 p.m.
great.
I was just about to say, can you paint the
Suburbs love
picture?
West Side
It's
Connection.
great.
Can you paint the picture for us like you set up my depressed lifting in the gym with the lights are off?
I felt pretty good. I blare the Clash. I blare the most inappropriate gangster rap I can find because I feel that if you don't have cursing in your rap, you're committing a great sin. It's not what rap's for. It's like trying to eat like tofu pizza. It's a sin against God and all creation.
So you don't listen to the new MC Hammer where he
Fuck
like raps
no,
about
man.
Jesus and
I don't want to
stuff?
hear. Look, Jesus is fine, but he has no place in my rap. Jesus shouldn't be in the
But do
rap
you try
game.
to mostly lift when it's storming and there's like thunder and shit? So
The only thunder
the
comes from
lightning
my
cracks,
effort.
And then you're like, boom, boom, I'm gonna squat now.
Boom, lots of boom boom. Sure.
I'm gonna edit that out and make it my text message ringtone.
Boom, boom, I will squat.
Can you pull that audio? That's the new ringtone.
Barbell for their phone.
Yeah, someone added
Oh,
the barbell.
But-
Shrug
the
drop.
click,
And
click.
But joking aside, I think on the days that, like Mondays, I'm hitting hard 5x5 squats again. That's pretty brutal. So I think I'm gonna enjoy a little sweet potato mash with my protein that morning before I do that.
I think
I want to thank the both of you for raising my awareness.
There you go.
And eat some sodium on top of that. It'll help.
Really?
Doug was getting tired of holding that mic.
I know. I'm like, oh,
So can we
take a nap.
All right, we
It's like
got,
this.
we got one more question from the handle is at CTP Shrugged. Strange. I think I know that guy. He asked.
Did you ask a question?
He asked, Shaina, can you introduce me to Julie Fouché? That's our final
On the
question.
spot.
Did you also want to meet her boyfriend?
Oh.
So he can,
Shake.
So
no, he
doesn't.
so they
He
can
doesn't.
fight.
He said no.
No, probably
So
don't. bother them.
earlier you were saying that you read a lot of books.
Yeah.
You got like top 3 books that you can recommend for everyone before we close out.
That's kind of boring, isn't it?
No, I don't think so.
No, it's a
Our
good
audience are
it's a
readers,
good
I
balance.
hope.
It's a good balance with all the other bullshit we've been doing.
About
Ketogenesis,
diet or
No, just in general.
Like your top 3 training books that you would recommend.
Ketogenesis, Horton Hears a Who, and what's the third one?
Horton Hears a Who.
Yeah, sorry.
oh gosh. I mean, I think Natural Hormonal Enhancement by Rob Fagan was really good. It gives you a really good idea what the hormones in your body are doing, like what role they play, and how to use them to your biggest benefit. So that's a great book, Natural Hormonal Enhancement. That's really a mouthful. You can't get it on Amazon though. You have to get it. It's self-published, so you have to get it. Just search the internet for it, and you can get through his website. What's about recently I read a book. It's called Ultimate MMA Conditioning, and it's by
Wow.
it's by a guy named Joel Jamieson, who I think actually OPT has studied with. And he has some really great methods for conditioning, and also how to use basically periodization in your training and doing blocks of certain types of training, how to train energy systems so that they don't interfere with each other or negatively affect
Good
each
stuff.
other. There's some great info in that book. So
Yeah, it's a great point that even though it's marketed towards MMA people, like all those training principles still apply to CrossFitters and football players and baseball players and anyone that's trying to get into like really high performance athletic shape.
And if you like to geek out on sciencey research and shit, then that is something you will definitely enjoy.
Can I put that on
So-
bumper sticker?
Yeah, Joel
I need
Jameson's a
to
smart
pick that
guy.
up. I
Yeah.
haven't read it.
Do you have that book?
I
Barbell
don't have
home.
that book specifically, but I've seen stuff he's done before,
His
and I really like
website's
everything
really
that he
cool,
does.
too.
That's our next shirt, CTP.
Yeah.
Geek out on sciencey bullshit and shit. BarbellShrug.com.
There you go.
Okay, you got one more book to name.
Pressure's on.
Should have told her this ahead
3.
of time.
I know.
Two.
I didn't.
I didn't know he was
I
going to
don't
ask
know.
the question. Otherwise, I would have let you know.
I don't know. I would have to think more about it.
She will tweet it out. She will tweet it out between now and Wednesday.
There you go.
The secret.
I'll tweet.
If you dream in your mind,
sciencey shit.
you will have what you dream about.
Sciencey. How do you spell sciencey?
It's science with a Y on the end.
Dummy. God.
Do you keep the E or do you drop the E?
No, you can leave the E in there.
I before E except after C.
Why?
It has nothing to do with EY. Chris went to public school.
That's the one I'm gonna put on my phone. I before E except after C.
All right, let's wrap this up. Doug, what do you want to promote / plug, whatever?
What do you think is most applicable for this show? Faction food. We didn't talk about mobility at all. We'll talk about faction foods.
Nutrition.
We did talk about mobility
We
when we
talked
were
about the
trying to
mobility
pimp out
kit.
McG.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did talk about mobility a little bit. I'll plug the mobility kits for this
I
guy
never
right
did
over
mobility.
here. If you want to improve your mobility and you want to work on your soft tissue restrictions, mobility kits at mobilitykits.com. The same one that this guy has right here. That's a life-size figure right there. That's really how big it is. It's really that big.
This is how big.
It's kind of like downhill. I'm watching like 2 shows ago and he's making the first
Right.
masturbation joke. And I was like, oh my God.
That's not a
You
masturbation
should do
joke.
a tweet, a fan favorite episode. This is gonna be it.
That's right. As
iTunes one more time.
That's right.
We plug Mike's kit literally. So
Is that my kid, by the way, that you have in your head?
Yeah, it is. My hands are clean.
All right, Chris, what do you got? What are you plugging?
Nick Goldrick's not going to let us do any more advertising
I
for
know.
him. He's like,
No way. Everybody's gonna be like, I gotta get one of them mobility kits.
they're going to go off the shelves so fast.
Yeah, well, go to the blog, thechrismooreblog.com, read it, check it out, send me a message, tell me what you think. The Simple Strength Seminar is pretty cool. And that's all. That's my humble plug. That's it.
The Simple Strength Seminar is pretty cool. That should be on the box.
It's pretty cool. You're going to bend
Yeah,
over
but
my
you
blog?
should credit it to like New York Times.
That's right.
Like,
That's right.
testimonials from readers say Simple Strength is pretty cool.
All right, what do you got to plug?
Actually, I want to plug my new sponsor, the BG Labs. They make really awesome BCAA supplements. I think their main focus is creatine, but I take their pre-workout mix called Berserker, which is
Oh, yeah, you tried that shit today, didn't you?
I took that for the first time today. I was like, part of my brain woke up that I think it was asleep.
It was like speed coaching.
It was.
He was
I
helping
gave
me
her
with my
way too much
weightlifting,
advice.
Coaching
today.
on speed, you mean?
I've only coached on speed a couple times.
Yeah.
But today I felt a lot like that. But yeah, I probably overcoached due to Berserker today.
Berserker.
Sounds great.
I like it because it gets me all jacked up right before. I'm gonna just chug a bunch of it right before I work out, and
God bless you.
gives me lots of energy. So, but yeah, check out. I believe their website is thebglabs.com. They got good stuff.
Hey, BG, like
Beautiful.
the Bee Gees, the band? BG, how you spell that? Or just B and G?
How do you spell BG? She's like BG.
G.com.
Just clarifying. Fellow Bee Gees fans in the audience.
I'm sure there's tons of them. If you live in Decatur, Georgia, should they come train at your place?
Oh, they should come to
you should probably
CrossFit
plug
East
that.
Decatur.
Yeah, CrossFit East
I love
Decatur.
my gym.
Mm-hmm.
It's very big. We have 10,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Which you will see in CTP Cam following soon.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
there a CrossFit
PTP
Here
camp.
in a
Spaghetti
few
Junction?
minutes.
These guys worked out with me this morning, so sort of.
I
They
wouldn't
worked out
call
near
what-
me this morning.
I wouldn't call what we did was working out. We lifted some weights and yeah.
Bullshitted.
My hamstring started bothering me, so I had to quit halfway through. But whatever.
No.
Yeah, that goes into the whole training age thing. All right,
We are on Twitter at CF East Decatur. So
there you go. Do you have a fan page for Facebook?
for the gym.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
CrossFit East Decatur.
Check it out. All right. Make sure to go to Facebook and like our fan page, Barbell Shrugged. Go to our website,
I like it.
Barbell Shrugged. You do like it.
I do.
Shana the fan.
Isn't that right, Jason?
Hey, we
you
finally
go.
got it.
Oh, shit.
Is that an inside joke? I missed.
yeah,
Yeah,
kinda.
you'll see
You'll
it when you
see.
watch the
You gotta
episode.
watch
Watch
the
the
video.
video, though. Watch the video.
iTunes doesn't get that.
Yeah,
right.
sorry. So go to fan page on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and go and sign up for our newsletter so you can get all sorts of updates in your emails. We don't send out too many, I don't think. A couple times a week, just get notifications of technique wads, daily BSs, stuff like that.
Email will
And
change your life.
notifications of this show coming out. And also, what else we want people to do?
I want everybody to take this episode right here if you enjoyed it and share it on your Facebook wall for all your homeboys and pimps and hoes to see.
Thank you, producer.
And go to iTunes, and if you really like this episode, and if you like this podcast, give us 5 stars, leave a comment.
We should start asking.
Only positive comments and 5 stars. If you
Leave us a
plan on-
3-star review.
If you plan on leaving,
if you don't like us that much.
if you plan on leaving anything less than 5 stars, don't do it. All right.
Just never mind.
Right,
Yeah.
Pretend like you didn't hear that.
Just go listen to another podcast or something. All right. See y'all next time.
That is it. Thanks, guys.
This thing was like about to like.
Dun, 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 dun,
You're gonna be
dun,
sore
dun,
tomorrow.
dun,
Like,
dun.
oh.